Welcome to another karting video. As you would have seen last time out, I got a pretty heavy hit during an incident which we're just about to see. So wasn't even sure if I'd be fit to race at this event, but fortunately I seemed reasonably okay, so decided to give it a go. So we've now got to round 4 of 7 of the Club 100 Heavyweight Experience Championships. The venue today is Whilton Mill, a track I've had mixed results at in the past. I mean, I quite like the track, but it doesn't appear to like me very much, unfortunately. My plan for practice and qualifying was just to see if I was fit to race, really. The main problem I was struggling with was the rib injury. As anyone who's damaged their ribs will know, there's really nothing you can do other than wait for it to heal. You can't strapping doesn't really help, other than taking painkillers and things like that. There's really nothing you can do. Onto this session, aside from a silly 360, which I think you're going to see on the next lap, I felt reasonably okay. From a physical point of view, managed to set my fastest time in the session during qualifying, as opposed to practice, which makes a nice change. But it wasn't spectacular. It was solid. It was okay. I felt like I'd managed to survive a 30-minute race. So from that point of view, it did what was required. And here we are, wide on the grass and round, nice. Oh, it was almost 360, so 270 degree spin. But anyway, yeah. Apart from that, practice and qualifying was really quite uneventful. So we move on to race 1. So still feeling reasonably physically okay. My plan for race 1 was to be sensible, just try and pick up the pace as the race went on, hoping to catch a bit of luck, potentially with other people making mistakes. As we'll see, this definitely isn't the way it turned out. We'll see the incident and we'll talk through it when we come to it. So coming round through the boot section, coming up to take the start, around the final corner and the monster curb. Right. Taking the start, staying in the tram lines until we cross the line. Now, reasonably even start. Nothing really to write home about. Someone tries to come around my outside, but I mean, they've still got loads of space. They've got that concrete runoff to use. I lose a bit of ground coming up to Christmas, but make it up on the brakes. And we're now heading down to the hairpin for the first time. Going down to the hairpin, and we can see the kart in front here, Lee Barrow, is just going to spin out. I'm just going to pause it there because I'm just about to get hit from behind. So let's sort of run through this a bit more slowly. So here comes kart 22, who hits me, sends me into spin. I then get caught again by another kart, which, to be fair, I don't think he could have done a great deal about it. I'm not very happy, I think it's fair to say. I'm now having to get out of the car. I'm going to have to push it off the grass so we can start again, because if you start from the grass, you will be excluded from the race. So that's not ideal. By this point, by the time I've recovered, I'm 35 seconds away from the leader, 25 seconds away from the nearest kart on a sub 50 second lap. So here's the last race. Oh, look, it's kart 22 who's decided to hit me. And obviously then hit me also at Whilton Mill, which was not exactly great. So let's run through this again a bit more slowly. So I'm coming in, trying to avoid Lee. Here's 22. I don't know whether he just sees Lee's kart late. I don't know why he's not trying to go around the inside. There's space there, but he moves and just collides with me, and then, as I say, second kart. So I'm just going to pause it here. You can see there is space on the inside. I'm just going to go around Lee, but there's no space inside of me, so I don't know where that kart thought he could go, there was nowhere for him to go. It's a very strange bit of decision making. So a couple of things when I'm recovering again. There was no penalty from the contact. To be honest, I don't really care. It made no difference to me whether he got a penalty or not. My race is completely screwed at this point. I'm so far behind. I don't have a pace advantage to make up the gap. Born a bit of a discretion. I'm fucked at this point. Penalty makes no difference to me whatsoever. The incident that we saw was happening quite a way in front of me and the karts in front. Karts behind me, rather. I saw it. I took avoiding action. You know, I could see Lee was stuck across the track. Why the karts behind me didn't see and couldn't take sensible avoiding action well before we got to the incident, I do not know. Now, there weren't yellow flags at that point, but to be honest, if you're relying on yellow flags to tell you that something's happened further down the track and that you should potentially maybe not be going in there flat out, then you probably shouldn't be on a track with other people, because you're clearly not using your brain in the way you should. Now, I've not heard from that driver after either of those incidents. I mean, the one here, I mean, it's a racing incident, I guess, right? Maybe he outbraked himself, I don't know. It's more the placing of the car, where exactly he thought he was going, that seems odd to me, and it seems to not make a lot of sense. But, you know, I've not heard from him about either incident, so I can't, you know, I don't know what his thought process is here. But if there's a kart spun in front of you, don't try and be a hero. You know, just simply just be a bit more careful. But to be honest, it's in my view, and again, this is my view, I'm not the person driving the car, I'm merely on the end of these incidents. Both of them look similar in nature in terms of it. There appears to be a bit of a lack of awareness of what's happening further down the track. Now, the incident at Whilton Mill Park, I completely willing to accept that maybe he was unsighted by Tim. You know, understand that. But then again, if the kart in front of you starts taking a wildly different line into the corner, maybe you would think that perhaps there was a reason for that. And then the incident here, Lee's spin is quite a long way in front of them. There was space on the inside, there was space around the outside. There simply wasn't space where my kart was. I don't know what he was trying to do. I really don't. Now, maybe in a way, I guess maybe if you know, he obviously was trying to avoid Lee, but he could have gone down the inside, and maybe he saw him late. I don't know, but then that reinforces this kind of slight lack of situational awareness. You know, racing with other people in close proximity isn't just about being quick. It's also about being respectful to other drivers, being aware of what's happening around you, because things will happen in front of you and to the side of you, and you've kind of got to be aware of it. You can't just drive looking 2 foot in front of your own car and be oblivious to what's happening to you. You really can't. End of rant. So as I've already said, this basically ruined my race. I tried my best to close the gap, but it wasn't happening. I just don't have enough of a pace advantage to be able to close a 25-second gap. And then obviously at some point earlier in the race than normally would have happened, I had to deal with being lapped, which then slows you down. It really was a bit demoralising. So basically, I was going to finish last, unless I got lucky and somebody was less lucky than me and had a mechanical. So in fact, I finished 29th out of 30, and that's where I would start race 2, because your starting positions in race 2 is determined by your finishing position in race 1. So back row for me. So on to race 2. I'll admit I wasn't particularly motivated for this race for reasons that are fairly obvious. I was also starting to feel a bit physically drained and a bit uncomfortable from the injuries from the previous round. So here we are. Start, nothing particularly special. I'm just generally being cautious. I don't need another lap 1 incident again, so I'm just trying to be a bit more careful. Just don't want to get involved with any stupidity if I can avoid it. Coming down to the hairpin for the first time, I try not to have a flashback. But there's a yellow flag out, someone's off on the outside, and it all appears to be getting a bit stupid. Potentially in front of me, there's 3 or 4 wide. It's worth repeating here. This is a 30-minute race. It's a 30-minute race. If you've got pace, and as we'll see later on, some of the people that get displaced through incidents are able to come past me really easily because they've got a genuine pace advantage. If you've got that, you don't need to go like an absolute bloody bandit on lap 1. It's just not necessary. This is not a sprint race. So, lap 2. You see there's quite a few karts in front of me, and they appear to be doing some pretty daft things. It looks like it's kicking off. I'm not going to say who those people are. I don't want to sound like I'm being judgmental or that I've got a grudge against anyone. But you can draw your own conclusions. Right, coming down to the hairpin. Here we go. Oh, there's a lock up and a bit of a shove and a push, and someone's gone off on the grass. And oh god, I'm now blocked by effectively almost 3 cars across the track. This really isn't a situation I want to find myself in, to be honest. But it is what it is. Right, so yeah, 2 laps. It's been quite eventful so far, isn't it? I'm not suggesting my car was definitely slower than the others around me, but maybe it's some kind of psychosomatic relationship, and the car was feeling my lack of enthusiasm because it seemed to be a bit lacking in enthusiasm when it came to accelerating out the corners. But there you go, it is what it is. Right, hand up, coming up to Christmas, we have a spinner on the outside. Yeah, people seem to be a bit excitable, don't they? Right, coming down to the hairpin for the 3rd time. What? Another yellow flag, hand up, and another spinner off to the outside. Blimey, so 3 laps in, we've had I think 3 or 4 spinners. Yeah, it's definitely much more lively than race 1, which only had the incident I was involved in, which you can see earlier in the video. Hand up again, we have another spinner or kart recovering. That's Tim Williams, I think, off the outside. Someone recovering to the pits, I guess, with a mechanical. And again, this group in front of me are kicking 7 shades of shit out of each other by the look of it. There seems to, yeah, again, I think I don't recall what I was thinking at this point, but I saw a lot of this happening in front of me, and I don't think my reaction was, oh great, they're trying to kill each other, that'll be an advantage for me. I was almost thinking, they're trying to kill each other, I really don't want to get involved in this. And again, this driver in front has cut the guy off who was just in front of me. It's a bit aggressive, to be honest. Coming round again to the back straight. As I said, I think, I don't know if it was me or the kart, but you can see I'm not really able to make up a lot of ground or even hold position here. I'm kind of closing up, but I think it's more due to the fact I'm A, not attempting to murder the people in front of me, and B, maybe taking slightly better lines through the corners. There's Tim who's just recovered, and you can just see like how much more pace he's got than me. Again, I'm not going to suggest my car is bad. That's down to the fact that Tim is considerably quicker than me. Another recovering driver. There's no point in me attempting to fight him because, yeah, he's not in the same race as me, really. Right, so what else can possibly happen with the group of enthusiastic gentlemen in front of me? So Tim has easily managed to get past this guy. I think, yeah, the other recovering kart's going to follow through. He's off on the grass. Probably lucky to have actually held that. But there's already a bit of a gap to these karts in front, which I never really managed to close down, despite the fact I think there's going to be another faster kart come through. I never really managed to take advantage of it. Again, I don't really know whether that's because physically and mentally it just wasn't there, really. Definitely mentally I wasn't really up for it, which is unusual. I've done, it's my third year now up 100. I've had lots of, my results have always been a bit up and down, never been really consistent, aside from Shennington earlier on this season when I genuinely had podium pace. That's not something that really often occurs, but to be honest, I'm aware of my shortcomings, but I'm out there to enjoy my racing. But this really kicked me and I didn't enjoy it. It was basically quite a lot of money, a lot of time in travelling for no enjoyment at all due to the actions of other people, which is really, really frustrating. As I said, I was starting to struggle a bit physically on account of the injuries from the previous race, and without any real target in front of me, I think I just kind of drifted a bit, not pushing myself particularly. I did manage to improve on my starting position thanks to penalties and mechanicals, but really, as I said, I'm going to say it again, both races were effectively decided by somebody else's actions. I'll be generous and say maybe making a mistake. I'm not suggesting it was a deliberate. No, it definitely wasn't deliberate. He made a mistake. He misjudged the braking and took, hit me and caused me to spin. That's I think, I don't think that's a wrong thing to say, but it was frustrating nonetheless. But all I can do is put my head down, work harder, hope for better luck and results. So thank you for watching.